All right, I think we're live. Morning, Creative Crew. Just jumping on quickly here to do a quick live on how to use sort of content to re-engage and build out your kind of marketing ecosystem. I'll share my screen over here. Didn't bring my phone, so I can't actually see if this is going out. Let's just hope it is. There we go. So I spoke a couple of weeks ago about lead magnets. And kind of just building on that, really looking at content as a way to sort of re-engage and build relationships and build out your ecosystem and kind of establish more contact points with potential prospects. And how it's better to distribute rather than just kind of post stuff. There's a place for both of them, but the kind of direct way is super effective. And I'm just going to show you one way of approaching that, really. We definitely touched on some of this stuff before. I'm just kind of going over it now as I'm doing it at the moment with a client. So the content with the default mode is to kind of post and wait for likes, which is quite a passive approach and a long-term play, really. It does work, definitely, but it's hard to replicate, and it's also, it can just be a bit of a long-term endeavor. So going direct often builds engagement and gives an excuse to reconnect and converse with other prospects and with old conversations. So taking an active role and re-engage, and this is what I'm doing at the moment, really, in building out client assets, which is, first of all, you ask for content. So you message prospects and you say, what would you like to see? Make the content, obviously. Then there's another kind of means to have a conversation, go back to them, kind of ask if they want the content. In this instance, depending on the channel that you're going to them in, so this might be through LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever you're connected. If you don't have them on email, you could ask for their email address to send it over, which is a good way to start kind of building out your email asset. When you have it, then send the content or the link or whatever it is that you've made. And finally, kind of ask if they want more of the same. So follow up email, and I'll give you an idea of how that looks in a minute, to get them onto ultimately an email list. So this is if you're going to them through one of your social channels. This kind of process works really, really effectively. So I talked about this in the lead magnet thing, but asking for content ideas. So it's a really good way to know what you should be making, what content is going to engage, what's going to tick the boxes, and also a good excuse just to message people when you haven't necessarily got anything specific to say. So I gave this message before, hey name, over the coming months, I'm going to be generating lots of useful content and helping your niche in your specific area of expertise. So whether this is photography, design, video, whatever it might be. Is there anything that would be particularly useful for you in that regard? They're going to reply and hopefully tell you, yeah, I really want more information about X, Y, and Z. Okay, brilliant, thank you. So then we made the content. Hey, name, it's me again, hope things are good. Just put together a guide to help your niche in the area you said you needed help in. So this is obviously going to be really enticing for them because you've made something specifically that they said that they want or they need, and you're offering it them directly. So it's actually a really good way to get something like an email address or something in exchange because you're giving them something really high value at this point. So if you're interested, I could send you across a copy. Is there a good email to send it to? Once you've sent it out via email, and some of you might be familiar with this in terms of what I do and how I operate, and this is how I do for my clients also. So a follow-up email. So, hey name, hope the guide was useful. Did you have any questions? Just wondering if it'd be all right to send any other useful and relevant bits to this email from time to time. And because you've asked them and you haven't just put them on a list and you've built a connection kind of through the social channels as well, but you've kind of built a connection with them and you've not sort of spammed them with links or anything like that, but you've kind of engaged them in the process, the chances are they will say yes. There's a little bit of work involved, but in the end, the payout is you add them to your email list, which is a very valuable thing to be able to have that extra contact point. And you then are able to engage in multiple different ways and stay in front of people. So just to note, your goal doesn't necessarily have to be the email list. It could be another asset. So for example, a Facebook group, Instagram page, just put the content on whichever channel you're trying to build. So again, through the same process, really, like what kind of content would you like? Okay, great, here's the content. I'll send you the link and send them the link to whichever channel you've put that on where you want to drive that kind of engagement. So I'd be interested to hear thoughts on this. This is just one way of doing it and kind of building out assets and how content can be used much more productively in a more direct way, with a real goal in mind. So rather than just putting it there and kind of waiting and hoping for somebody to get in touch, you're like reinitiating conversations, and you've got a further goal in terms of getting an email address or putting them into a group or whatever it might be that would allow you to engage in future in other creative ways. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Yeah, be interested to hear from everyone. Has anybody tried this? Anybody tried the stuff that I did on lead magnets a little while ago? Let me know if you have, or if you've got any questions, and drop them in the comments box. And I will see you next week. All right, have a good one. Bye-bye.